Welcome to Markets Now. I'm Michelle Roque with Vince Boddicker, Farmers Trading Company, and kind of some mixed closes in both the grain and livestock futures trade. And as we round out Monday here, let's talk, Vince, about the fact that the corn market kind of started off to the plus side on Monday. We had a 6-month chart breakout last week, but what, did we just run up into resistance? Is that why we ended a little lower today?
I think you ran there, and probably nothing more than running out of buying, Michelle. The market was good all of the evening on Sunday night into Monday morning and didn't stick around very long. One of the things that we've been watching is 465 in the quarter in July corn. You need to close above that, I think, which was the October high. You were not able to do that on Monday, and I think when you start selling off and went below that, you got some of those late longs that were coming in, or maybe some people that needed to sell some corn and said, let's hedge some. And the other side of that could be there's still corn at the elevator that probably needs to be moved by the end of the year, and they were saying we had a rally. Let's get it done today.
Yeah, no doubt. But when you make new highs for the move, obviously, like you said, you should reward the market a little bit. What do you anticipate after the first of the year? The funds have been long. Do they want to stay long that market? Will they keep pushing long, or what do they need?
Well, we've had so far 3 trading days since Christmas. Historically, what happens in the grain markets between Christmas and New Year's, you continue after New Year's. So are you going to have 3 out of 4 days higher? Are you going to have a split of half and half? I think we got to see what Tuesday does to us in here. But all in all, the markets feel better than they did a week ago, especially in the bean side of things. But I think corn itself is on solid ground, but we can't go up forever. Farmer selling is probably going to kick in one of these days. And the question is, when it does, is it going to be big amounts that brings the market back down, or is it just modestly and then we can hold it together?
What do you see ahead in terms of the corn market? Can it hit $5? Is that enough to pull soybeans along with or not?
Corn could hit $5. I think it takes further into spring before you do that. Probably that 470 to 480. I don't see a lot more than that short term. Again, we don't know what can happen in the world that may change things. Are we dry in Ukraine and Russia? That's probably going to hurt their wheat crop somewhat, and maybe even on the corn if it stays dry in the spring, yes. But that's a little ways down the road before we get too concerned on that side. Short term, I think you look at it and saying we've had some nice rallies. We are definitely in an uptrend in the corn market. Could you get a 15 to 25 cent pullback in here? Yes, if you do. It may be a point to lighten up on some hedges or re-own some corn that you sold. But I think it's more of a scalping market in here for the next couple of months.
What about the soybean market? Obviously, there were new contract lows scored a little over a week ago, but we have bounced quite a ways off of those levels. So are the lows going to hold, do you think?
I think there's a better chance that they do. If you'd asked me that question a week ago, I would have said no, Michelle. But how we've come back is a little encouraging, telling us I don't think we're going to run away. But one of the things we usually watch, and you haven't had to for the last 3 or 4 years, but 918 to 945 in lead month beans on that weekly chart is very important numbers. We've checked out that 945 number a couple of times and held. And I think it may turn us away from that. First of all, we got to get rid of some short covering going before we're going to get any big buying in here. South American crop is big. I don't see a lot of huge problems. Is it dry in southern Brazil and parts of Argentina? Yes, but nothing that's going to be a total disaster the way it looks at this point in time. So it really comes down to where can demand be? What can we do with renewable fuels? All that's going to make a difference as we move down the road.
So Vince, has the little rally that we've had off the contract lows been all fun short covering, or was the market a little concerned about Argentina weather, or was it just this big turn in the meal market?
I think it's a little of both in there. But the other thing I think we have to look at is the market has been very bearish. And now you've had a few days where you've came back and got through some 20-period moving averages, and you just may have some of those shorts saying, I think it's time to get out of here to the end of the year. Let's see what happens when we come back on Thursday, and probably more so next Monday, and see which direction we may want to lean.
Okay. What about the wheat market? What do you think there? Are the lows in? You and I, the last time you were on, talked about the double bottoms that we had there. Are they going to hold? And did we just see some fun short covering into the year here? Do you think that pulled us off the lows?
I think you got some fun short covering, but I like that double bottom concept. You have it in all three of the wheat classes. So far, it's holding. And we've had some ugly prices in wheat for 2 or 3 years. And if it's time to start turning this market, which I think it is, wheat should be the one that bottoms first. Again, I'm not sure you get any big runaways, Michelle, but look and start to move it higher, and maybe that can be a positive sign for corn or beans as we move down the road.
Okay, we need to get the wheat market to kind of lead here, but corn has been more the leader, hasn't it?
It definitely has, yes, which is nice to see. Doesn't mean that, we can't do anything, but and we can't change our pattern that we usually do, but wheat is usually the one that turns the corner first. But is it as positive of fundamentals as the corn? No, it's not.
So what's your thoughts about the cattle market? We started off strong here in the live cattle futures, but ended lower in the back months, even though we had just a little bit higher cash trade on that 5-area weighted average. Where are we going next?
I think you're struggling with, hey, I'm up at some higher levels. How long will consumer continue to pay up? Lots of other questions. Funds are extremely long that market. The market is fundamentally has lots of good things behind it. I think the big thing we have to be cautious of as producers is, one, not to get too complacent to think we can never go lower. And the other side is, it's not what you know that's going to hurt you. It's what surprises you that could turn this market lower. But right now it looks good. We have box beef right near the yearly highs, which is a great way to take out the end of the year. Now we see what, if any, surprises we get coming into the first of the year. Could you get an explosion out of here, especially in feeder cattle and fats? You could. Will we? I think only time can tell us, Michelle. I think you'd have some ideas of how am I going to protect the cattle that I have, and still be looking at the fact, what can I do to capture some upside if there's still some left?
Right. Do you think the funds defend their long in the new year or not, or at least to start?
I think they will, unless we get some unforeseen news in there. How much they do, I'm not sure it's any runaways there on their side of it. The question is, do you get to a point like I think you saw late last week, when we put some new recent highs, and you got some of the hedgers that were in there said, let's get out of here and see where this thing goes.
Yeah. The hog market setting back here today, do you think that was just some end of the year profit taking?
I think so. The other side of it, when you took out some of those recent lows, I think you prompted hit some stops in there. You still got some of those lows of a month or so ago in mid-November that are holding. If you take those out, you may tumble some more, but I think the bloom may be off the rows and the hogs. We've done great things, but as we look at the hog and pig report, it wasn't anything negative, but continues to show you some good pig head per sow litters that are coming through that are going to put some pressure on the market down the road, unless we can come in here and continue to pick up demand.
Yeah, in both the case of cattle and hogs, some of what happens after the first of the year does depend on whether we have tariffs and when the Mexican border opens, all that, right?
Definitely. And I think there was a story out on Monday morning talking about, looking at beef imports into China. A lot of that's been Brazil and Argentina and Australia, and they're up, but yet domestic prices are down. It probably won't take long before that market shuts off a little bit, and then where do those cattle go to?
You bet. All right, some things to think about. Thanks so much. As always, Vince Boddicker, Farmers Trading Company. That is Markets Now.